Welcome, Impact. I hope y'all doing well today. If you did not know, last night the Clemson Kitty Cats won the ACC championship. I didn't ask you that. My boys actually went to that game, which is weird. All of a sudden, out of the blue, Trey got free tickets because I think we were having trouble with selling tickets, and he has some hook up there. And so he asked if he could take my 14-year-old Seth to the game. And we're like, okay, take the minivan though, because that makes more sense for a Clemson game, just a bunch of people in minivans, not cool at all. But now, the tires in our minivan are better than on his car. So I'm like, go, have fun, that'll be great. And so they went, and it's not really part of the sermon, but it's just a little dynamic of our family you probably don't know about. We're always sort of alluding to the kids and even telling the kids that Seth is our favorite. We don't really have a favorite, but we always kind of say that. And it's because he's more obedient than the others, and I don't give him a hand because it don't take much to be more obedient than the other two. I'm talking about, Trey and Ava. Mike is he's a work in progress. We'll see about him. But he's the more obedient one. He's not going to give me lip. He's going to do his work. He's going to do his chores. He's going to do all that stuff. And so the other ones, it's like pulling teeth. I mean, to get them to do anything, to wake up, to do their chores, to clean their room. It's just terrible. So he's the favorite child. That's what we tell him, And so they were walking out the door, and I saw Trey coming, and I'm talking to Seth, and I'm like, Seth, and as if I didn't know Trey was there. If I had like a multicolored jacket, I would give it to you. I would. That's funny if you know Bible stuff, right? Because I'm alluding to Joseph. Yeah. Forgot. I guess it wasn't funny. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. So we joke around and do stuff like that. I'm not even sure where I was going with that. I guess I just wanted to say that.
Bragging on Seth.
Yeah, bragging on Seth. Right. And by the way, everybody in the band. But that was terrific, right? They've been knocking it out of the park. We really have. Where's Seth at? My glasses can't see far. There he is. But y'all did like the reading glasses, so this is awesome. That's terrible. But it makes me be more brave because I can't see your face. It's just a big blur. But this is honest fact. Seth has never had a single drum lesson. We just kind of, when Justin, one of our former guys that was in the band was here, he had like he worked with him you just kind of work with him before and after service and stuff, and that's it. And this dude is just rocking it. I mean, right? He's doing a great job. Yet another reason why he's my favorite, Trey, come here real quick. Quickly, hurry up. I just did in front of everybody because I feel bad now that I'm saying it out loud. I feel how terrible it sounds. Come right here. Stay right here. I want you to look me in the eyes. All right? Be deep in my eyes. All right? I'm stroking your hair. No, it's okay. It's okay. You're my buddy. You're my boy. You're my firstborn. Okay? I want you to know something. Look right here. Seth is not my favorite. Mike is. They're going back. I'm just playing. All right, so they went to this ACC championship, which Clemson won. I watched it on TV, mainly to see if I saw my boys there. But I didn't. I saw the game. Clemson did good. Yeah, all that stuff. But they got a trophy, right? Then I saw it at the end. Dabo was accepting the trophy. Dabo was saying the same thing Dabo always says. Oh, well, yeah, it's just the guys that won for the 3 years before us, and we wouldn't be here. It's hard not to like the guy, but I'm not supposed to. And so I'm going to make fun of him. But he got the big ACC trophy, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like there's a sermon in here somewhere. And because the Gamecocks didn't get a trophy. They didn't get a trophy this year. They didn't get an SEC championship trophy. In fact, I'm not sure I think we got one in our whole lifetime. If that, maybe we never got one. I don't even remember. But we didn't get a trophy. You know why we didn't get a trophy? Because we didn't win. We didn't win the game. We didn't do what needed to be done. We didn't beat all the SEC opponents, which are so much better than the cupcake ACC opponents, but I'm not going to go there. But we didn't do that. And you know what? You don't get a conference championship by participation. You don't get that. Amen? I know everybody in the South is going to be like, amen. Right? Amen. There's something about the idea of giving kids, or even older kids, a trophy without actually winning something that rubs people the wrong way. Especially nowadays. There's just something about it that rubs people the wrong way. And I bet my bottom dollar, people in this room feel the same way. We're in South Carolina. I know how you feel about that. About participation trophies. About a trophy when you didn't really do anything. And, I don't necessarily disagree. I will say I coached soccer with CISA. It was just a local organization. And I have seen some 12-year-old really pudgy kids that struggled. And I was really glad to see they weren't at home on the Xbox eating brownies and stuff. And I'm like, well, praise God, amen. They're actually out here doing that. I kind of feel like they should get a participation trophy because not everybody's the same. But that's neither here nor there. I get why people don't really like the idea of participation trophies, right? So, repeat after me. No participation trophies.
No participation trophy.
Repeat after me, okay? You gotta do something to get something.
You gotta do something to get something.
America!
America.
All right.
America.
It's awesome. But now let me ask you a question. What if God feels the same way about you? What if God feels the same way about you? You don't just get a trophy. You don't get a reward for telling people you were on the team. You don't get a reward because you went to church every once in a while and you wore fancy clothes and you only read from the KJV, the Almighty Bible, the only one that really counts according to some people. You don't get a reward or a trophy for that. You don't get a trophy for pretending like you're something you weren't. You don't get a trophy for that. What if God holds us to the same standard that we want to hold these kids regarding participation trophies? Regarding what if you really have to actually do something before you're going to get rewarded by God in heaven? There's going to be a whole lot of Christians at the end of the day that are all about participation trophies at that point. Oh God! What if you don't just get one for calling yourself a Christian? What'd you do? Did you win a championship? You take care of orphans? You feed hungry people? Did you give your money away? Did you trade your life in for a lower life so other people could have more than what they have? Did you not just follow the Fox News feed and say F you to all these immigrants? Did you actually say, well, you know what, they're people too? Maybe we do have to have laws, but maybe I can also have some compassion with it? Or did you just go along with the rest of the sheep? Maybe you don't just get a free pass into heaven. Maybe there's something more to it than that. Maybe God doesn't believe in participation trophies either. But God, I participated. I was in church every once in a while. Jesus is constantly saying we will all be rewarded in heaven if, and that we won't lose a reward if. Did you know there are going to be rewards in heaven? You're not just working because, hey, I love God. The Bible is full of references. There will be rewards in heaven. Jesus says it all the time. Yes, Trey, this is your trophy that I stole from the top of your bookshelf when I came in as a sermon illustration. Because you're my favorite. Behind Mike and Seth. All right. Ava's like, oh, hold on for a second. That makes me laugh. Just kidding. This is all a joke. No truth to it at all. There's going to be rewards. So how do we know if we're going to get a first place trophy when we get to have our second place or just a participation trophy because we really didn't do anything? Well, I suggest that the most important question isn't that. The most important question that everybody in here, everybody that you know, regardless of how religious they seem, the most important question that we need to ask is not about trophies, but about whether or not you're even on the team. Whether or not you were even on the team. See, if you're not on the team, it's not about the trophy you get, it's about whether you're even allowed to be in the gymnasium when the trophies are being given out, or whether you were escorted outside into the outer darkness. Oh, like this is going to be one of those sermons. It's because it's in the Bible. Maybe we should talk about it and not just blow sunshines and rainbows up your butt. Sunshines, did I say that in the plural? Grammar, not my best, not my best part. American. That's right. Here's the thing, if you're on the team, you'll be rewarded based on what you've done. Some people will get more, some people will get less, but if you aren't even on the team, you don't even get to come to the trophy presentation. You don't belong here. And the coach will look at you and say, I never knew you. The door is right there. That's Bible. That's biblical. Matthew 7:21. I didn't just make that up. So before we talk about whether God is going to just give you a trophy for participating or whether you have to have earned some rewards in heaven, let's start at step one. Are you even on the team? And I think that every Christian should question their salvation, constantly re-examine themselves as Paul would say, in light of the fruit that they're bearing in their life, about what they are showing, what they are giving. Look at your life. See how it looks. Do you see fruit of the Spirit? Do you see fruit that Jesus said would be there? Are you loving people? Are you not? We have to question our salvation. We can have confidence in it, but Paul says to examine yourself. Examine yourself. Because there are so many people sitting out there in church pews this morning who are not saved. They do not have Christ. And no, most churches won't say that because it's not PC. But Matthew, the book is all about it. Matthew 7:21, we'll get there. It says that it's a fact. There will be many, M-A-N-Y, people who call themselves Christians, who thought they were saved, who in the end will find out that they were not even on the team. So look at some familiar scripture. So it's a parable of the talents. Now before I say the talents, sometimes the Bible uses words that it's not necessarily words we would understand. But a talent, in terms of the Bible, is something that God gave you. Like, say He gave you something. It's a good thing. It's money, it's resources, it's a gift. It's a spiritual gift. It's something you have that God gave you, and He's wanting you to steward it well for His purposes. That's what a talent is. It can be a talent. That's what's so confusing about the word. It can be a talent. And in Scripture, we're talking about money, like a bag of coins. A talent was a monetary measure. But it can be anything God gave you, okay? I want you to keep that in mind when we read this. Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30, this is Jesus talking. He says, it'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants, the man's God, we're his servants, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. That's what God did with us. He's not walking around anymore with us other than in spirit, but everything that He made, that He has entrusted to us for the benefit of His kingdom. Amen? All right, so then He entrusted this property to these guys. To one of them, He gave 5 talents. Think about it as 5 coins. But again, it's anything that God gives you as a talent. To another, He gave 2. To another, He gave 1. He gave them each according to the person's ability. Then He went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them. Notice how he did not sit on his butt. He went and he took what God gave him and he used it to make more. That's the point of this parable. Okay, notice that. He went, he traded, he shucked, he jived, he did all this stuff, and he made more. He turned 5 into 10. So also, he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, but we all want the master to say to us, well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful in a few things, I'll now put you in charge of more. I didn't read that, but that's what he says. Then he went to he says, enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 more. His master said to him, the exact same thing. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little, I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Now he who had received the 1 talent came forward saying, Master, listen to the excuses. We all have excuses when we don't do what God wants us to do with what God gave us. Everything you have that you drove here today, you think you worked hard for it. God gave you that. God gave you the breath to breathe, the arms to work, the feet to walk. Amen. Everything is His. And He expects you to use it for His purposes. He who received 1 came forward and with the excuses, he says, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid. And that's why I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, have what is yours. In other words, he took what God gave him. He didn't do anything with it to further God's kingdom. He just sat on it. And as an aside, that's one of my issues with really big churches. I love some of the stuff these churches do. I mean, I'm not knocking them. I'll name them New Spring. The Craig Rochelle's church, Hillsong's one of my favorites. But the one issue I see when I look at them is there's so many people that a lot of people are forced to sit on their talents. God might be like, I can sing really well and I want to sing for the Lord, but hey, we're a huge church and we don't have any more openings. But there's a church down the street that has 37 people and they need a worship pastor. fits right in here. This is the biggest issue other than the rock star mentality of the megachurch, is people don't get to use their talents, and the Bible has commanded us to use our talents or we will be held accountable. And so that's why I tell people, you go to the church that needs you. Not the consumer culture, the one that tickles your funny bone and makes you feel the best. Go to the church that needs what you can offer. Boom, I did that with my mind. All right, so he said that to Jesus, the master. And his master answered him, "You wicked and slothful servant." Not a good way to start out the conversation with Jesus. "You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one who had 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Whole story boils down to what I just said. God gives you gifts. God gives you talents. Everybody has them. It could be changing diapers, compassion for kids. It could be building stuff. I'm standing on a stage where several individuals use their talents that God gave them to come and further God's kingdom by helping the local church out. Amen? Amen. This is what I'm talking about. We all have these things. And Christ is saying, everything I gave you, you're to use to further my kingdom. I gave it to you for a purpose. You're not here just for 80 years to chill and do what you want and get your house and your car and live your life and do it. You're here for me. You're here to see how many people you can serve, see how many people you can love, see how many people you can tell about my name, see how many people you can bring to Jesus. And everything I gave you, every penny, every talent, every car, every house, every child, every wife, every anything is for that sole purpose. The only reason you have breath in your lungs right now is that purpose. Everything else you have, including your job, is simply to support you while you fulfill your purpose. And some of us have got it twisted around, and we think our purpose is our job. And then on the side note, we go to church every once in a while. That's macaroni and cheese backwards. And what's saying right here is we'll answer for that. It's a scary proposition. I'm not trying to be, the old school fire and brimstone, we're all going to hell kind of deal, but it is my obligation to open up this book and tell you what is inside. And I will be held accountable for that. To a higher degree, is what the Bible says. If you teach it, don't teach it if you don't have to, because you'll be held to a higher standard. And your rewards in heaven will be determined by how much you did with what you had. How do I know that? Just look back at the story. The one who did the most, he had 5, he got another 5, he had 10, he got the one of the disobedient servants, and now he has 11. What you do with what God gave you here will determine your rewards in heaven. I can't emphasize this enough. Every time I talk about doing things, rewards, and all that sort of thing, I need to make sure y'all understand the correct theology of things. You are not saved by the good works that you do. I've repeated a million times over. In Isaiah, it's very clear. Your good works and your very best thing, the best thing you've ever done that you can sit here and think about, the very best thing you ever did, when you rescued that child from the burning car. That time there was a wreck in front of you. I don't know if that ever happened, but if it did. Your very best good works are like a dirty tampon held up to a holy God. There is nothing we can do to earn our way into heaven. Period. End of story. Drop the mic. There's just nothing. We're not that good. And he is. So we're saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ alone and belief in his death and resurrection. The fact that he's the Son of God, that we repent and we come to the cross. That is how we are saved. But what you need to understand is this. What you do, the things you do, the good things, the good works, show the world who is in you. Salvation is about being on the team. It's an identity thing. It's you're a child of God. It's who you are. But what you do shows who you are. What you do shows who you are. And the question is, are you on the team? Are you a Christian? Do you have salvation? What you do shows who you are. It's evidence of it, which is why Paul says, examine yourself, look at the fruit of your life, and see what you are bearing. Are you bearing good fruit? Are you bearing no fruit at all? Because you may need to re-examine the question about your relationship with the one true God. Whether or not Christ is in you is something that will be determined by your actions on this earth and not by your words. It will be poured out. Who you are will be shown by what you do. All right, the way I put it here, if I can read my own handwriting, what you do doesn't make you who you are, but it shows who you are. What you do doesn't make you who you are, but it shows who you are. Good works do not provide salvation, but they are evidence of salvation. So when we look at our life and we look at what we have and we look at how we use what God gave us to further His kingdom, how we turn 5 into 10, am I doing things for His kingdom because He's in me? And if I've got the master in me, I'm about the master's business. When we look at that and examine ourselves, we can then be confident of our identity if the answer comes back with a resounding yes, you are a child of God. So let me ask you again, what's your identity? Are you even on the team? I'll give you a little example, more of a fun example. I played high school football. I told some stories about this back when I was in high school. It'd be odd if it was any other time. Yeah, back when I was in college, I played high school football, and I was the best in the field. My dad dropped me off, though, and I'd never been to the school, never even played football, and he's just like, here's orientation, go get your physical and join the team at JL High School here in Greenville. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life. You don't do that. Once you get the 9th grade, if you didn't play football yet, it's best you probably don't start. They expect you to know a few things. And I knew nothing. I'm like, I can play soccer. That's not going to help you here, son. All these football coaches, man. I was son to everybody. Like, why is everybody calling me son and yelling at me so hard? Anyway, imagine this. Okay, say at the beginning of the summer you're in your 9th grade year like I was. You sign up to play football because, hey, you know what? You like the jerseys, they look pretty good. You like the cheerleaders, they look pretty good. You think you might be able to get in with some of the cheerleaders because they look pretty good. And with the jersey on, maybe you could look at the jersey and not your ugly face, and then you get some more action. And so you're like, I want to do this. I'm going to sign up. And they got pep rallies, and it's fun, and you're jumping around, and everybody's celebrating you because you're on the team. You look like a team, but then in the middle of the summer, you get a call from the coach. He says, hey, we're about to start two-a-days. And you're like, what the heck's a two-a-day? And he proceeds to tell you what a two-a-day is. Two-a-day is when you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning on the hottest day of the year, every single day of it, and you go in and you run in equipment, and you hit and you practice for like 4 hours until you're absolutely exhausted. You get like one break in the middle. You go stand beside all these guys and drink water out of a big pipe with a hose connected to it, with little holes in it. You're trying to like something with like this. It's like almost like a medieval torture device, all right? And you can't get it up, but then it's time to run again. You got to run again. And so you're doing all that, and like 4 hours later, you're exhausted. And you're coming home, it's like 12 o'clock, and you're like, Dad, I can't do this anymore. This is crazy. And then at 2 o'clock, you got to go back, and you got to do it again. And like for the whole summer, you do this 2-a-days. It's like the worst thing in the history of mankind. So let's say you hear about it, and you're like, well, I don't like the sound of that. I like the benefits of being on the team, but I never agreed to sacrifice. I'm going to skip that stuff. I like to dress like I'm on the team and tell people I'm on the team, but I don't want to actually do the stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything, and so you don't. But you still wear the jersey they gave you. You just never go to practice and you never play in a game. Coach doesn't even know your name. And when the end of the season comes and the team wins the championship, what kind of trophy do you suppose you'll get? It's kind of a ridiculous question, right? Obviously, you're not going to get a trophy because you weren't on the team. Not only are they not going to give you a trophy, they're not going to allow you inside the gymnasium. And if you tried to go in with the jersey on, pretending like you were on the team, hey guys, just walking in with the rest of them, the coach will look at you, and according to Matthew 7:21, he will say, away from me, you evildoer, for I never knew you. And you will be escorted outside of the gymnasium into the outer darkness where gnashing of teeth occurs. So you never joined us, you never practiced, you never played, you don't belong here. You don't belong here, you never practiced, you never played, you never did anything. You don't belong here. Your actions tell us who you are. They don't make you who you are, but they identify who you are. Your actions don't make you a child of God, but your actions show me you're a child of God. That's the story of the servant who hid his talent. He did nothing with it. He was given everything he needed. He could have played a part. He could have gained some yards. He could have caught some balls, made some tackles, but he never even went to practice. He was a no-show. He just took everything God gave him, all that equipment, and buried it instead of using it. He wasted it instead of growing it. And it's all about identity. Because what he did showed that he was not on the team. He wasn't a child of God. He did not have Christ in him. What you do shows who you are. Now, the good part of that is Jesus can change all that. Who you are is not a forever thing. With Jesus, that script can be flipped. And who you are can be something completely different than who you were. But that's not the sermon. And so when God comes back at the end of the times and the trophy presentations are taking place, and he gives out the first one out to the MVP quarterback of the team for all those things he did that showed on the team he was always playing for. And this is the runner-up for all the yards he ran. He gets to the one talent servant. The one talent servant has on the jersey. He looks like a player. But God looks at him and says, you never did anything. You never did anything with all I gave you. You showed who you were. You showed I was not in you. And then God had him thrown out of the gymnasium as an imposter into the outer darkness. Ask yourself today, are you doing everything you can with what God has given you? Are you doing anything you can with what God has given you? Can you think of one thing in the past week you've done for God, for his kingdom, with what God has given you, what he's blessed you with? I want to read you Matthew 25 because, I don't want you to think I'm making this stuff up. And I think Matthew 25 should be the most dreaded verses in the Bible because it's talking to people who think they're Christians. All right, let's read it. I'm going to read you both the NIV and the Message version. This is Jesus talking, talking about the end of the days. And everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does. Everybody say does. Means do, right? Do stuff, action. But only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? In other words, a lot of people say, hey, Lord, Lord, was I not a member of that church downtown? Lord, Lord, did I not dress up and come every once in a while? Lord, Lord, was I not on the committee? None of those things are bad in of themselves, but if they're not evidence of a truly saved soul, then it's just a dirty rag. And then Jesus will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evil doer. The Message says this with a little more flair. Knowing the correct password, saying master, master, for instance, isn't going to get you anywhere with me. What is required is serious obedience, doing what my Father wills. I can see it now. At the final judgment, thousands strutting up to me and saying, Master, we preached the message. We bashed the demons. Our God-sponsored projects had everybody talking. And you know what I'm going to say? You missed the boat. All you did was use me to make yourself important. You don't impress me one bit. You're out of here. I love the Message. I love it. And then to read a little bit more of that. These words I speak to you are not incidental additions to your life, homeowner improvements to your standard of living. They are foundational words, words to build a life on. Preach it, Jesus. One more point about the parable that I think you can take some comfort from. Parable of the talents. I want to point out everybody on the team gets an award. You're going to get a reward, man. You're going to get a reward. You're going to get a reward. If you're on the team, you're going to get a reward. You did some stuff. You can't be a Christian and not have fruit. Jesus on Mack Truck can't hit you and then you get up unchanged, okay? If you are on the team, you're going to get a reward. Now, the starting MVP, okay, may get more rewards than the slow white running back ever will. Okay, I ran a 5.5 in the 40. If you're not laughing, that just means you don't know football speak. That's ridiculously slow, all right? But I still get an award. Even if I'm the slow white running back on God's team, I'm on the team, I still get a reward. I get to be in the trophy presentation with the net or pudding, and and all the good stuff they feed you when you're there. I get to take part of that stuff. I get to be there. All right, so you get a reward. It's just based on what you do. If you're on the team, you're going to get a reward. But what I want you to see here, which should really give you some peace of mind, is this. The person that Jesus gave the 5 talents to, who made 5 more, listen, track with me here. He had 5, he made 5. Then the other guy, he had 2 talents, Jesus gave him 2 and he made 2 more. Had 2, he made 2. One of them ended up with 10, right? Is our math good here? One of them ended up with 4, right? But you know what? Jesus said the exact same thing to both of them. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Well done. And he gave him more. You know what that means? That means you don't have to compare yourself to the person beside you. You don't have to be like the guy preaching on the stage, or the guy singing the song, or the guy out here doing that. You don't have to compare. All you have to do is very simple. All you have to do is do everything with what God gave you. And the fact is, God gave some of us more than others. That may not be politically correct, but that is a fact. All you have to do to hear, well done, good and faithful servant, is do everything you can with everything he gave you. And you may end up with less than somebody else, but if you do that, you're going to hear the same exact words from God our Father. That's comforting. I don't have to be like the mega pastor. I don't have anyone I need to compare myself to except looking inside me and making sure I'm using everything he gave me to my best ability for him. That's all I have to do, and we can all do that. That is within the reach of every single person in here. To be completely obedient to God with just what you have. So we're working for rewards. Now I want to switch gears. Switching gears to the left hand. Switch gears. Okay, I'm going downshift in the third. I was in fourth a minute ago. You want to know? I was in fourth. Who's going about 65? I'm downshifting in the third. Well, we're about 45 right now. Right? You tracking? Here we go. Downshifting, changing gears. Because Jesus talked a lot about rewards, about how to get them. But he also talked about how we can lose our rewards. And the last thing you want to do is work hard for God in this life and then find out you lost your reward at the end. I remember having to write a paper when I went to first. Now, I get this. I was like full-time Granger, forklift driving, warehouse employee. Okay, like getting the stuff from the trucks, staging it, and then picking the orders for the customer. That was my life, and I did that for years and years. And then I went to Furman at night, and just decided to change my speech pattern, change my trajectory. It's do something different, right? And so I went to Furman at night, and I remember, like at the end of my whole Furman experience, I was a sociology major, and I had a paper due. And it was not a dissertation, because this is just like a bachelor's degree, but it was a big old paper, like 25 pages. Had a bibliography with like 30-something references, had to be all perfect. And I remember working on it like the entire semester. I just add to it and add to it. And back in my day, we had something called a floppy disk. You're old enough, if you're old as me, you know what that is. And it sounded kind of like a flash drive, but it's floppy and it's a disk, hence the name. And so floppy disks weren't quite as stable or as secure or as safe as like the flash drives are nowadays. The thing with a floppy disk is this. You couldn't get them near a magnet. You couldn't get them on top of a TV. Probably because of the magnet. But there's certain, you couldn't get them in the heat. You couldn't get them in the cold. You had to make sure they were like the medicine. Room temperature. Don't put them in the fridge. And so I remember finishing it, and I went into the room one night with I had to present it the next day. I went into the room, my bedroom, where the printer was and the computer, and I put it in, and it popped up, and there was nothing there. And I'm like, I cannot adequately describe to you my thoughts and the words that I said out loud, and to my wife, most likely, because of this situation. But everything I had done was gone. Months of work. I needed it to actually pass was gone. And so what I was faced with is the proposition of going in the next day and standing before the teacher who would grade me with nothing in my hands. When I knew I had done it. I knew I had done the work. And see, this is different. This isn't the parable of the talents with the one guy who did nothing. Okay, I did it. Okay, I turned my 2 into 4. I turned my 5 into 10. I did the work. The issue here is it just wasn't there when I got before the teacher. It went somewhere. I had it and then I didn't. issue. Professor, I promised I did it. I promised I did it. It's just gone. Stand in front of the one who's going to grade me empty-handed. I fear so many of us are going to be in the same empty-handed position before God when we get to Judgment Day. Thinking about all the things you did here on this earth. You know you did them, you remember doing them, but now your hand's empty and you don't know why. Your floppy disk don't have nothing on it. God, I know I did it. I promise you. God, you recorded my life, right? Play it back. I know it's like right around 28, 32. God, I know I did it. I don't know why it's not here. Your hands are empty. You're trying to figure out why. Jesus tells us many things about how to get rewards in heaven, but he also tells us many things about how we can lose our rewards in heaven. 2 John 1 says this, watch out that you do not lose what we have worked for, but that you may be rewarded fully. So why does Jesus say we lose rewards? Why will so many of us Christians end up before God with empty hands when we thought we did so much here on earth? Because of magnets. Just like with floppy disk. I'm just kidding. You guys have nothing to do with magnets. Sometimes I write this and I just crack up to myself. I think it's so funny, and then I get here and I don't understand. Because of magnets. Magnets. No, the truth is we forfeit rewards from God by seeking them from men. Listen to that. Write it down. Put it on your arm. We forfeit rewards from God by seeking them from men. And when I say men, I mean women, I mean humans. Matthew 6, verses 1 through 8, 16 through 18 say this. This is Jesus. Be careful not to practice your righteousness, in other words, your good stuff. Don't do your good stuff in front of others to be seen by them. Now that's important. Let's stop for a second. All right, hammer time. That was in here too, and it was supposed to. You will get a big laugh. I have that in parentheses. It didn't happen. I'm going to have to make a note of that. Okay. No more hammer time. Got it. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. We need to take note that he is not telling you you cannot do good things in front of others. He is not telling you you cannot practice your righteousness in front of others. He says do not practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. In other words, it's a motive issue. You can do it, but don't do it because, don't do it to be seen. What are you, an actor? You can do good works in front of people, praise God, amen. That's how they're going to know that the glory of God is all around. But don't do it to be seen by them, because then everything you just did was a complete waste of time. Your floppy disk just got erased and you didn't even know it. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets. That's in here too in parentheses, no? No laughs. Except from the Oliveros. Okay, I'll make note of that. And when their Christmas gift is bigger, you'll know why. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Speaking of that, that reminds me of something I do that I think is funny. Oh, my sweet little girl is out. Me and my wife, I drive all the time. That's like a thing. Any other guys, like your wife just thinks because you got married, you now are the default driver, it just has to happen. So I'm always the driver. I don't know, listening to the contract. I looked, I didn't see it. But I'm always driving, and so she got like the keys, like with the big pink bow on it, and like all the stuff on it that just screams, I'm a soccer mom, right? And so I don't want to be a soccer mom, I want to be a soccer dad. So I don't want to carry the keys around, because it's like big old pink stuff sticking out my back. I mean, I like pink, you know I like pink, but you know, it's just a big old set of keys, and it's all girly and stuff, it smells frilly. And so I'm always handing her the keys, and we come back to the car, and the question always happens, babe, you got the keys? And I'm like, no, you got the keys. I don't carry your keys. Are you sure, babe? Because I just love, baby, I don't have the keys. It's pouring down rain. We got 55 babies. We're trying to get in. I don't have the keys. So I've started doing something, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But every time I turn the car off, I look at her, I hand her the keys, and I say, let the world be my witness. And I give her, I've literally done it like 500 times, and I've never stopped. It's totally true. I've done it so many times though, like now I'll say, no, you got the keys. Remember I said, let the world be my witness? And she's like, well, you always say that. How do I know lose it? So it becomes ineffective after about 37 times. I don't know why. You have to change the wording maybe? That's what God's saying here. When you do something good, when you feed somebody, when you love on somebody, don't be, let the world be my witness. I'm feeding this homeless person. Let the world be my witness. No. No. You lose your reward. Your floppy disk is empty. You can't do that. Let the world be my witness. Remember that. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand even know what your right's doing, since your giving may be in secret, then your Father who knows what is done in secret will reward you. You will get there before him. You will have something to show. It won't be empty. Your hands won't be empty. You know what? You know there's reward assassins out there? Reward assassins. Think about an assassin, dressed like a ninja. They got like guns in their hands. They're all around. There are reward assassins all over the country and the world right now. They're called Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, a million others that I'm too old to know about, but I'm sure my kids do. Facebook and Instagram and all the social media things. Reward assassins. These are the places where rewards in heaven go to die. You got a lot of likes on that video showing you doing that good work? Great, because that's your reward. Because you lost one, you were going to get up there. Amen? We all do that, right? You just wasted your time. You posted it. You just wasted your time. Your floppy disk just got erased. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Look what I did. No, it shouldn't be. Social media is literally the toilet of our rewards. Instead of a like button, it should be a flush button. No, flush. Or post, it should be flush. I'm going to post this and I'm going to flush this video. I'm going to flush this good work. I'll never get to show it to God, but these people sure did like it. I remember one in particular where, like, these things go viral sometimes. You'll see them on Facebook, people share them. I'm not throwing sticks and stones at you. I know in your heart you're like, oh, this person did something good. I'm going to share it. It's certainly nice to have a lot of nice things to look at and crappy stuff we usually do in the news, right? I get it. But we need to be smarter. We need to understand when something's good and when it's just for show. When somebody's trying to do something good or when they're just trying to be an actor getting attention. And we don't need to share that stuff. I remember one in particular, a guy, I'm going to help this homeless guy right here. And he literally builds a wooden shack like on the corner of the sidewalk in New York. And it's like, it takes him a day or two and it's like the video's all slow-mo with him building it. And at the end, oh, I love you, here's your house. I'm like, really? Like you had a video team following you. All right, and the fact that you built him a wooden house that isn't up to code on the corner of the street in New York tells me you're not in this for the long haul. You don't want to invest in this guy. You just wanted some likes real quick because you know this dude's going to tear that crap down the next day. We got to be smart as Christians. Be an actual Bible-believing Christian and be able to spot the stuff. Makes us look foolish. You really think he's going to get any reward for that? Every time you video yourself and you post it, do you think you're going to get any reward for the good work that you did? Watch me feed this person. Watch me take care of this person. No. Isn't doing something good enough in itself? You're losing your reward. I've been convicted of this with regard to Impact, trying to figure out, okay, well, if it's true, and I know it is, because if I was on a deserted island and all I had was the Bible, that is the conclusion I would reach. And that's how you should read your Bible. Not comparing it to the stuff around you and the people around you that you see or the churches around you go to necessarily. We are good for teaching and instructing. But in general, when you read the Bible, imagine you're on a deserted island and all you have to go by is what this book says, and that is the way it should look. So if I'm doing it like that, I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know, should Impact post pictures of us, taking care of kids in here? Should we post pictures when we go to Bear and do things when we sing at the zoo? When we do all these things, should we? I don't know. I'm saying we should be wary of it. We should always err on the side of not posting and not sharing and not letting your left hand know what your right did. Now, I think it's okay because we're a church, and if I'm taking a picture of you and I'm honoring you for the good work that you're doing and pointing to God, that's different than you taking a selfie of yourself trying to get attention. There is a distinction there. And so I think with churches, it's okay. We can take pictures of you doing good works and point to the glory of God and say, this is why they did it. They love Jesus. But almost everything else, you have to be so careful and cautious that you're not just trying. And remember, the heart above all things is deceitful. So you may even think you're doing it for the glory of God. You can't even trust your own heart. Make sure you're not just trying to get the attention of people. because that will be your reward. Same thing, same principles apply in prayer. This is what Jesus said about prayer. When you pray, don't be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen. You notice how that came up again? That to be seen thing's a killer, right? To be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, Christian, follower of me, when you pray, go to your room, close the door, pray to your Father who's unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, don't keep babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you even ask. Don't you hate it when somebody gets up there and they do that prayer, man, with all them fancy words, and it's like 5 miles long, and your belly's rumbling, and you're ready to get to the nanner pudding. Josh, you wants to get to that nanner pudding, and the guy won't stop praying, and it's like you're doing this for show. Yeah, you're a play actor, man. You think God's in the box seat looking at you, giving you applause. No. Jesus goes on from there to say the Lord's Prayer, which interestingly enough begins with our Father in heaven. And the word Jesus used for Father was not the formal word for Father that his disciples would have expected. He used the Aramaic Abba when referring to the Father. Now, if you go to Israel today, Abba is what you might hear a little kid at the pool, like a little 8-year-old, call out to their daddy when they fall down and skin their knee. Abba! Daddy! Daddy! It would have shocked his disciples to hear him talk like that because they were not used to that. They were used to Pharisees with long-winded, big-worded prayers. You might be used to that if you came from other churches as well. And they might try to tell you that's the correct way. Look in the Bible. It says it's not. You want to pray, you say, Daddy, here's what I need. He wants to have a relationship with you like a son does to his father, like a daughter does to his father. He wants to be your daddy. He wants you coming to him when things go wrong, when things go right, when things are in the middle. He just wants you coming to him. He wants a relationship, not fancy language trying to impress the people around you. Simple talk with your daddy who already knows everything you could possibly need and wants to give it to you if it's going to be good for you. Amen. Fasting, which is not eating for a while, or cutting something out of your life to help you pray, to help you pray for something, or just to show God that, I understand the Creator is better than all creation, the Giver is better than all gifts, and so I'm going to give up these gifts for a while just to make that point. All right, that's what fasting is. It says, Jesus says, when you fast, don't look somber as the hypocrites do, oh, I'm fasting. Oh, buddy, I can't. I wish I just walking by the restaurant. You're not even eating it. Buddy, I wish I could have some of that steak. It sure was good. But I'm fasting. I'm fasting, everybody. Don't do that. You're calling attention to yourself. You're wanting to get your reward here. You're not going to get it there. People do it on social media. Guys, I just want you to know I'm going to be fasting social media for the next 30 days for my relationship with the Lord. Don't tell them. Just be Swayze. All right, just be God, be Ghost. Just get in with them and wonder, where'd you go? You'll be like, Jesus. You ain't got to bring attention to yourself. God will bring the attention He wants to you to glorify Him. He'll take care of it. Swayze. If that word isn't popular now, teens, you need to bring it back because that word was the bomb. When you're gone, you'll be like, I'm Swayze. People will be like, that is cool. I'll explain what it is later. I'm going to show you the same passages we just read, but in the Message, because they're even more clear sometimes. Be especially careful when you're trying to be good so that you don't make a performance out of it. It might be good theater, but God who made you won't be applauded. I just want to drop the mic when I read this message sometimes. You hear that? That may be good theater, but God who made you won't be applauded. I'll back away from the stage and that's it. So I'll keep reading. Backing away from the stage did not work either. When you do something for somebody else, don't call attention to yourself. You've seen them in action, these people, I'm sure. Play actors, I call them. Treating prayer meeting and street corner alike as a stage. Acting compassionate as long as somebody's watching. Playing to the crowds. They get applause, true, but that's all they get. When you help somebody out, Christian, don't think about how it looks. Just do it, quietly and unobtrusively. That is the way your God who conceived you in love, working behind the scenes, helps you out. Somebody say amen. That's beautiful stuff, man. And when you come before God, don't turn that into a theatrical production either. All these people making a regular show out of their prayers, hoping for stardom. Do you think God sits in a box seat? Here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Just be there as simply and honestly as you can manage. The focus will shift from you to God, and you will begin to sense His grace. You want to know how to pray? Listen to that again. You struggle with prayer? Oh, I don't know how to pray. I just don't. Listen to this again. Here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Nobody but you and Him. Just be there as simply and as honestly as you can be in your sin. Knowing who you are, knowing what you need forgiveness from. There are no masks before God. Be there as you are, as honestly as you can manage. The focus will shift from you to God, and you will begin to sense His grace. And then, Daddy, forgive me. Daddy, help me. Daddy, I need you. Abba. The world is full of so-called prayer warriors who are prayer ignorant. They're full of formulas and programs and advice, peddling techniques for getting what you want from God. Don't fall for that nonsense. This is your Father you're dealing with, and He knows better than you what you need. Here's the issue. You got that song ready? Go ahead and play it. I don't even know if it has batteries in it. I'm hoping it don't. Just play it. We'll take the chance. I'll try not to dance. It's okay. His floppy disk has been erased.
It's not very Swayze of you, sir.
Well, you know, YouTube's got ads. I'm sorry.
Joey, it's getting awkward. Joey, I'm starting to sweat. Is that it? Here's the problem. We're living in a whip-a-nay-nay world. Whip-a-nay-nay Christianity, whip-a-nay-nay churches. Y'all heard the whip-a-nay-nay song? You just heard it now. Here's what you must know about it. It's not that new. It was newer a little while ago, maybe 5 years ago. I can't even remember. But the words are like, now watch me whip, now watch me nay-nay. Everybody. Now watch me whip, now watch me nay-nay. Now, Randy, I saw you in that video from last week. And I know for a fact that you could really do that well if you really wanted to. Why don't you stand up for me real quick? Come on, man. Stand up real quick. Help me out. And I was sweating, and he made it all awkward. Watch me whip. Now watch me nay. Watch me whip. Now watch me nay. All right. Very good. You hear that applause? You just got your reward here, not in heaven. The problem with the whip and nay-nay culture, the problem isn't in the whip, the problem isn't in the nay-nay, the problem is in the watch me. Watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me. I'm going to feed this homeless person. Watch me, watch me, hey, watch me, watch me. I'm going to help somebody on the street. Watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me. And it's the same thing now than it was when we were growing up. The only difference now is they got an ability to exasperate and escalate that stuff on social media. Now it's produced, and it looks like a movie. Everybody's a freaking rock star. Everybody to know who they are. And if you're a Christian teen, then it's the same thing. You're just showing everybody the stuff that you do, not necessarily who you are. And you don't even know you're losing every reward you ever could have had by doing that stuff. Watch me, watch me. No, don't. Don't call attention to yourself. Do what is good. Do it because it's good. Do what is good because He said so. He told you how to do it. You're wasting your time. I want you, every time you post something, I want you to picture that or imagine that sound of a toilet flushing. I can't even do it. How's the toilet? Flush. I was going to say, flush. It doesn't say that. That's what it does. That's like saying a dog goes bark, bark. It doesn't go bark, bark. It goes ruff, ruff. Bark is what it does. Do for Him and Him alone. Do because you love others like He told you to. Let that be enough. You won't lose your reward. After the baptisms we did, like in this place, Maryville Center E1, right? Is that where we were years ago? I remember the first time we did it, it was such an ordeal because we had to put that that pool, that inflatable pool, which was like massive. It carried so much water in the middle of the sanctuary. We had to try to get an attachment to get the water into it. Took forever, and I thought that was, hellacious. I don't even know if I can say it. To do, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, we baptize people, and that's great. But the worst part was after, because all the cool stuff was done, and then we just had to clean it up. And we're like, okay, I got an attachment that can put the water in there, but I don't have no attachment that's going to take the water out of here and all the way around to the front where the drain is. And so I brought Seth with me. And if you remember, we had buckets. And so we were dipping buckets in the water, running it out the door. I mean, we had to go a good bit, if you remember that facility, from the front of the stage all the way out to the hallway and then out the front door to that drain over there by the big window. Now I remember when I first started, I got my bucket, I put it in, I filled it up. It's heavy as I'll get up, but I'm a man, I can't handle this. I start walking, I'm halfway there, and I notice my bucket's getting lighter. And I'm looking down, and there's like a line of water. I got a hole in my bucket, and I had to make a decision at that point. Do I go back or do I go forward? It's like I'm about equal right now. Either way, I might as well get it out. And so I start running. Seth is like laughing. He's on the floor. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're never going to be my favorite. And so I'm running out the door, and I get to the drain, and I throw the water in, and nothing comes out. I lost it all. All the water is literally drained out from there to there, and he's laughing even harder, and it was a terrible situation. I'm glad you, okay, hold on. They laugh when bad things happen to me. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. So he's laughing, and I'm not laughing, and so finally, it's over. I'm thinking, Lord, why me? I'm trying to do something good. Why is every time I try to do something good, like the hole in the bucket? Hole in the bucket, really, a hole in the bucket. We just baptize people, Lord, in your name, hole in the bucket. And all I want you to think about is this. I want you to think about a floppy disk. I want you to think about a bucket. Christian, we're putting in a lot of work in this church. We should be. And I think we are. We may be putting in a lot of work outside of this church. Work for the Lord. All right? We're doing that. We're going to be doing it as long as we have breath, as long as this church is around. Don't put all that work in for the wrong reasons. Don't put it all in so others will see. Don't post it all and just try to get your applause and your attention from people to get Facebook likes and Twitter follows and Instagram likes and views and all that stuff. Because if you do listen to me, one day, I promise you this, we'll be standing in front of a holy God, all right, holding out an empty bucket and an empty floppy disk, wondering what the heck happened. Let's pray. God, we love you so much. We love you so much. It's a blessing to have a church. It's a blessing to preach. I hope everyone feels it's a blessing to be able to hear the word of God. You have the truth. We need it. We're not going to get the truth from any other source except from your word. And your truth brings peace. A peace that surpasses understanding is what your word says, and it's true. We don't know why. We don't know why we can look into your eyes and walk on water. We don't know why we can look into your eyes, Jesus, and have peace and know everything's going to be okay, even when everything in the world is screaming that it's not. But God, I thank you for that. I thank you for a truth out there that I can aim my life toward. And I may fail often, but thank you for letting me get back up, look at you again, and keep walking. God, your grace is amazing. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, everybody pray. So we said amen.